Hello and welcome to Batman on a Budget, the show where I show you, the non-billionaire type, how to become Batman on a non-billionaire type budget. In the future on this show, I'll be showing you all sorts of cool gadgets you can make, as well as gear you can buy and different reviews on the gear, including what types of gloves are best, the spiked gauntlets you can use, cape, cowl, and even belt. I'll also be showing you how to make different types of gadgets, including everyone's favorite, the batarangs. But today, I'll be showing you what tools you will need to make the gadgets. Most of these tools you should already own, but some you will need to, and they're generally not too expensive. To make batarangs, you will need tin snips. This yellow pair I have right here cuts straight, and that's like the only pair I ever use. I'm able to cut around corners pretty fine, but if you can't really with straight tin snips, you can use one of the curved ones. Curved directions. The red one, I'm not sure. I think that curves to the left, and the green one curves to the right when you're cutting. You'll be cutting out of sheet metal. Now this one's relatively thin and a little bit easier to cut. It's a 28 gauge. I got this from Home Depot. This is the 1 foot by 2 foot one, but these can actually run expensive, especially the thicker grade. The thicker grades I use for the throwing stars, mostly cut out, but there's still a little left. I'll be showing you how to make batarangs and other type gadgets like that, weapons, in a future episode. As well as the tin snips for making batarangs, you will also need files, different grades of smoothness and how rough they are, to be able to get it. You'll start pretty rough and then eventually go a little bit thinner, smaller, so it gets nice and smooth, almost a polished look. And once you're done with that, you'll even use the sandpaper to get it even smoother, starting with rough and then even going finer sandpaper. So that's it for the batarangs. Now actually no, not yet. Once you cut out the batarang shape, you'll have pieces like this that stick up here, stick down there. It'll just look pretty weird like that. So to be able to hammer it smooth, you'll need a hammer. I have two different types of hammers. This one I found is a little bit denser and gets a nice, like, it just flattens it a little bit easier, more like a anvil, like a hammer on an anvil. Speaking of which, you will also need like an anvil or some similar type of surface. I use a bench clamp for that. Some other odd stuff you will need. You'll need a metal hacksaw and extra spare blades. I got this at a garage sale. I'm not sure how they regularly run, but once again, you probably have this already. Utility knives. I've also got a folding utility knife, which is pretty handy and easy to use. You'll also need spare blades because these dull relatively quickly for how often you use them. For soldering stuff together, like the grappling hook, I've got this little acetylene torch I got off Amazon. It was pretty cheap. It's just got a button on the bottom to start it, and it, like I said, it's pretty easy. You can't really weld with it, but I use the soldering lead-free solder stuff. I'm not sure what it's called, soldering wire, to solder pieces of metal together. I use this heavier grade metal. It's nice and strong. I'll show you in a future video how to make with the grappling hook out of the sheet metal. Mine's already made. I don't have it easily accessible. Some other odd things you might need: some screwdrivers, tape measure, scissors for cutting out shapes for batarangs, the templates. Some pliers. You'll need pliers to help straighten out metal. Sometimes when you cutting it just like curves too much, and you kind of need to flatten it out with pliers. These here, I think they're technically wire cutters, but I use them in conjunction with the tin snips just to like get the edges nice and smooth, because sometimes it's still a little bit rough. For the batarangs, you also might want to polish them. I use this as well as some other bits. I've got my toolkit up there, which I'm getting to. You got the drills you'll be needing. I have a battery powered one as well as a regular cord one. Drill bit's a good selection. I use drill bits for making holes in the batarangs as well as pretty much anything else. If you want to add bat fins to your car, drill a hole through the bat fins to help bolt it onto the car. There's my other polishing bit. It's technically a Dremel bit, but I just use it with my drill. I'm not sure how good that is for the drill or whatever, but I just use it to polish it so it shouldn't be too heavy on it. And then another odd thing you might need is finishing nails. Small finishing nails, nails stuck together, or you could use them. I actually used it to hold two pieces of metal together by hammering it through and then cutting it off and then hammering the other side so it's fat on both sides. Then paint you would need. Obviously Batman likes black, so black. I personally like the shiny black. I've also gotten matte finish black in the garage that I use. So that's a nice. I like the shiny personally better, especially for the batarangs. And I've also got silver paint. Metallic finishes, but you need. Rust-Oleum's a good brand. Speaking of paint, this one, Quick Color, is 98 cents at Home Depot, and it's really good quality paint. It is fast drying, so that's also a perk. And then, as well as those paints, you'll need a clear coat. This is a gloss finish. I also have a matte finish as well. But for some reason, my silver does not work with the clear coat. It says do not put a clear coat on it. So you might want to look at that just in case you want to do a clear coat. I'm fine without the clear coat on the silver. But clear coat just adds a little bit of extra protection, especially against rust. For example, on the batarang, after I painted it black, I sanded the edges a little bit to give that silver finish back. And then I put a clear coat on top of that so it doesn't rust. Because it is sheet metal, and you see there's a little bit of rust there. So just to protect against that, you want to use the clear coat. I think that's it for the tools. Another thing I don't see it here is a Sharpie. You can use it to draw shapes on the sheet metal to cut out. Glue or tape to add the templates to. You stick a template on there and you cut out following the shape to make batarangs or whatever else you will need. I think that's it. In my next video, I'll be showing you how to make a couple different types of batarangs out of the sheet metal. And like I said, this is a little bit easier to cut out. However, it's a little bit lighter and may not work. May not throw as far or as easy. The heavier one I really like because that just flies well and it sticks in real easily. Another thing you might need is cardboard. Yeah, use it up as a prop if you want to use cardboard fins on your Batmobile, or if you want to use metal. I also use cardboard as targets. I use cardboard boxes a lot for all sorts of targets: darts, batarangs, arrows, airsoft, anything. So that's what I would recommend. That's it for this video. See you next time.